I'm in second place and you pass me, what place are you in?
First.
First place.
Yes.
I'm in second place and you pass me. Well, how would you be in first place?
Because I passed you. I passed you, so I'm in first.
I'm in second place, though.
Congratulations. Now I'm in first because I passed you. I passed you. Are we running? Are we driving? It doesn't matter. I passed you. I'm in first.
These levels are good. We should be good. Shout out to my member and one of my top moderators, Stacy. 17 months moderator game. We got a bunch of shit to rant about, but y'all see the thumbnail, man. There's a lot of shit going on today, and apparently, let's just address this. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna let everybody pack up. I want to remind everybody: like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna do a roll call for the chat in a moment. We ain't gonna forget to do that. But like, share, subscribe. We are simulcasted on 2 channels, both the home of the official YT Purge and Auntie's The Boiler Room. So I hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys support the stream through Cash App, Super Chat. I would say super thanks if you're catching the replay, but we don't even know if that's going to be up, man, because right now we got some bullshit. We got some motherfuckers that's trying to attack your boy for handling business around the space, but it's all good because I'm still not taking my foot off of the throats of the motherfuckers whose throats I have got my foot on firmly. You know what I'm saying? So I suggest you motherfuckers guard your arteries, the carotid one, because real shit, I am not going to stop applying pressure to you motherfuckers. and you know who the fuck I'm talking about. So keep on combing through shit. Get your time stamps, all of that shit. Your flag team. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all got dolls and all types of roots and shit and everything else, trying to dabble in witchcraft, trying to get your boy, whatever. Ain't none of that shit working. So keep on trying again. Keep on trying. Keep on trying. You know what I'm saying? Let me do a roll call. I see y'all in the chat. What up, Reyes? I see the cynical one in the building. I'll give a shout out to my 17-month member, Stacy. What up? I'm him. Big Gas Man. Salute. You know what I'm saying? The one and only Bronze, most hated flat power god, also in the building. Let me give a shout out to Frida Green, who's over there live right now. You know what I'm saying? We was just over there chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? And it's all good. Got a bunch of shit to talk about today, and of course tomorrow's show, Sunday, and Studio Mansion. What up? What up? What up? Salute, fam. Salute. Yeah, bro. Yeah, dog. So apparently, and the Emperor is in the building too. So like I said, this is kind of like a show. I don't even know. I call it the afternoon rant because I'm gonna start off ranting, but then we're gonna kind of get into content and do some reactions, and then I got a poll going on. We're gonna ask y'all some questions. It's a whole lot of shit going on, right? Matter of fact, let me switch mics. Let me switch mics because y'all don't want to hear me loud and clear. All right. Closer. Yeah, most definitely. Okay. So, whew. If y'all have noticed, I don't know if you guys are subbed to Brownie Ellie, you know what I'm saying? But moderators, which is a lot of y'all have my permission to spam the chat with not just her link, but her upcoming stream for this evening, this afternoon. I'm about to put the link to that in the chat right now because she apparently has a stream scheduled and she will have a one-on-one with KaiTheDoll. Okay? KaiTheDoll. Now, who is KaiTheDoll? If you haven't been paying attention, this is KaiTheDoll. Okay? This is KaiTheDoll right here. This is whoever's face that sugar bum ass bitch is wearing all over YouTube and wreaking havoc and raising hell and shit. Okay? We showed the other pictures. We might have to show a few. But if y'all have forgotten or do not remember, you know what I'm saying? Once we decided to start opening up social media accounts and all types of other shit, this is what happened. Okay? There was a public account on X and of course some other places from a KaiTheDoll, and then not even an hour into my stream opening shit up, we saw this right here. Like the account was just suspended, just out of the blue, out of nowhere. Now, when you guys go over there, y'all feel free to ask that question. Because it's already known that, hey, if this ain't you, and you ain't frequent in this space, you ain't new to this space, or whatever, that's awfully ironic that this account just got suspended once we started opening the shit up and looking into it. You know? Now, we also got a random person that decided to come up on this very panel, you know, right here last week, that happened to have a cat with them, giving them hell. You know, I'll even let y'all hear that. You know, they were going through some shit with their cat and all types of other shit. So it's a bunch of shit. So, I mean, look, y'all see the poll. Maybe it's the same person with split personalities. Maybe it's not the same person, whatever. I personally don't give a fuck. Doesn't make me a difference. Because either way, people need to know what the real deal is, and folks is just gonna have to have some kind of skin in the game before they just are able to just go around here and just fucking shit up. I'm gonna keep on saying that. Now, I know a lot of folks believe that it's some kind of God-given right that they have to just go fucking with people around here. Like fucking with people, fucking shit up, You know what I'm saying? Giving supporters and subscribers and all of that shit, just making them feel real uncomfortable when they spend like $5 every single month and shit like that. And then when channels get shut down or demonetized and all of that shit, they just go and wreak havoc elsewhere. They think it's their God-given right to just do that shit. No, motherfucker. That shit is your privilege. If you are not the channel holder, and especially if you ain't got no channel yourself, just being able to engage with content creators, panel hosts, channel holders, and people that do have skin in the game, that shit is a privilege. You know what I'm saying? It's a privilege. And you need to be thankful that you have the permission to fucking do it. Because there's a lot of damn YouTubers on here that will not talk to you. Like they won't. You can have all of these conflicting opinions and these conflicting views and all of that shit, and they will not allow you to do anything but watch some shit that they edited and maybe just comment in a thread probably about 2, 3, 4 days after they even recorded the video in the first place. You know? But a lot of people believe that it's their God-given right to just be able to fuck with people. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Which actually leads us to our next topic. You know what I'm saying? Which we're going to talk about, because there was a lot of space history that was kind of brought up yesterday. Let me give a shout out to both of these fellas. Let me give a shout out to the Angry Man and Red Supreme, because definitely two dudes that I listened to when I first came in this space, and even before I came in this space. You know what I'm saying? Definitely doing their thing. Make sure you guys sub to Red Supreme if you ain't sub to him. But apparently the Angry Man did a video the other day talking about Kevin Samuels and his treatment of women, and said that I guess Kevin was a little too mean and too harsh to women. And we're going to start this stream by kind of doing a reaction to Red Supreme's reaction to Angry Man stream with it. Because I get it. It's kind of like, and what up, New? I see you, fam. You know? Another one, long time in the space. So this is one of the things that had divided, you know, these spaces. Now, keep in mind, a global pandemic plus, Kevin Samuels and an average at best video going viral kind of changed things. You know, around 2020, 2021, definitely did change things as far as just the people that came in and how that shit kind of gave birth to the Anton Daniels and Lapeef and all of that other shit. But there was a lot of shit that came before that. Now, I know there are a lot of folks that are new around here, you know what I'm saying, and really do believe that, because somebody even came up on my fucking panel, Jay Prince for president, it was actually, that really said like Anton Daniels started this shit. It's like, nah, bro, even that motherfucking shit and Lapeef and all that other shit was kind of like a spinoff of what the fuck was already going on. Like, the reason why a lot of folks are able to have these relationship conversations and all of this other shit is because the algorithm was here in the first place. Like, the algorithm with all of those topics and those hashtags and shit. And trust me, Kevin Samuels was piggybacking off that shit, along with a lot of other folks. But it doesn't mean anybody was doing anything wrong or anything like that. That's apparently that's why it was here. You know? So that black men and black women and all of that stuff, from the Sunday Rumbles to the Coliseum to Kevin Samuels and the Angry Man and O'Shea and all of that, like, all of that shit was here so that you could have a space and talk about all of this shit. Like, that was the purpose of having it, you know? But a lot of folks don't really know, you know, the history and a bunch of other shit, you know? They really think like they invented this shit, man. So, shout out to Red Supreme for actually doing a stream, you know, talking about some of those things. And I do really hope that these brothers can iron shit out. All right. And shout out to Brownie Ellie, who's got that one-on-one with KaiTheDoll scheduled. So I guess some people hit up KaiTheDoll, you know, after watching my stream. And then KaiTheDoll hit them up, and Brownie was able to reach out to them, and they hit up Brownie. And I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why I put, man, is this a fucking play? Like, is this a play? Because I don't know. That's why I be asking y'all everything. There's nothing to iron out. Hey, new, yeah, man, you gotta explain to me, man, what's going on? Because I know they kind of like didn't necessarily see eye to eye for a while. You know, they didn't see eye to eye for a while as far as their stance on a lot of shit. But I do like seeing it. He said there's nothing to iron out at all. I do like seeing it because I believe that iron sharpens iron. You know, these are definitely two fellas that, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to content, they can do that. They don't need panels. You know, they don't need panels. Definitely have their own viewpoints, strong viewpoints at that. You know what I'm saying? Strong viewpoints, definitely have an affinity and a talent for the shit that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? In this space. So, you know what I'm saying? I fucks with them. You know what I'm saying? Both. So, I don't know. Bro, have they even talked like with each other? Have you ever seen them on panels together? Because I know Red Supreme did open up the panel yesterday for a little bit, and you know, nothing really happened. So, matter of fact, you know what? Let's just get right into that. You know what I'm saying? Like right now. We're going to get right into that because he's even got some more stuff, you know what I'm saying, scheduled. He's been going the fuck in. But shout out to Red Supreme.
We here with this one. Shout out to my people for sending me the link to this, man. I mean, not the link. There's people who, well, yeah, shout out to the people who sent the link to the video. Let me say that because shout out to my dog Chris, and shout out to Trav the Truth, man. Trav the Truth. See, I was around when Kevin Samuels was making videos. Matter of fact, I was around before Kevin Samuels blew up. So I understand the history of this space. There's no hatred for, you know, regardless of how people feel about anger, man. As soon as we get to 100 people, you know, we really gonna dive into this conversation, man.
And I do want to say that much right there. So for all of them folks that claim that they be around these spaces and all of that, and I see you, Kills. What up? You know, but at the same time, for all of these folks that be around these spaces and all of that shit, to be all concerned and stuck on numbers and shit, if you don't know who Red Supreme is, I ain't saying you got to be subscribed to him. I ain't even got to say you got to agree with all of that shit. But if you don't know who Red Supreme is, you need to do your fucking homework because I'm pretty sure his numbers are smoking yours. You know? Like smoking yours. And definitely been a pillar in this space for a while. You know what I'm saying? Now, Keel says that Red is mad because AM didn't read his $5 super chat. He said this bullshit on the live stream. How long ago was that? Let me know. You know, let me know. I don't know. You know, he did just shout him out, but we're going to listen to more of what he got to say. I'm actually speed this up because
Chief Fan 1, man. What's up, my people? D Champ. Donald Pookie Trump. Cat at 6 always in the building. The GOAT, Cheesehead Ali. Hey, man. Things about to get real spicy. Things about to get real ugly. But at the same time, it's going to be so clean. Especially when it's delivered by Red Supreme.
He said, numbers don't matter. You don't need to know who Red Supreme is. Numbers is why nothing needs to be ironed out. Auntie. Hey, I mean, you got to explain that to me. You said numbers is why nothing needs to be ironed out. I mean, I guess nothing needs to be ironed out if nothing needs to be ironed out. I don't know. Y'all can tell me a little bit more about it. Because this shit actually predates me in this space. So I don't know.
Now,
numbers don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? If this is all for the sake of content, numbers shouldn't matter at all. This shit should all be about content, whatever your message is, whatever the hell it is that you're trying to do. And as far as this space supposed to be predicated on the shit that it's predicated on, numbers ain't really supposed to matter, you know. But a lot of people seem to be totally focused on it. They seem to be focused on it, but a lot of folks that smoke they fucking numbers, you know, they don't even know who the fuck they are.
Don't hesitate, man. Them numbers should be way up by now, man. Get them up. Get out of your feelings and rock with some real. Send out those notifications. Share this shit. Share this on your Instagram. Share this on your Facebook. Share this on all social media platforms. You know, see how this angle go look right here, man. You know, we with the technical, and so we're looking at dig this with yeah. And I congratulate people for what they do. You know what I mean? If you've done something to motivate people in the space, you will get props from me. Right? The truth is the truth. And that's how we're gonna give it. That's how we're gonna deliver this game today. So what up to the people? Perfect Bliss, what's good, man? Come rock with your boy one time, man. Our man Smiths, he says salute. I already know, man. That's how we gonna deliver this shit, man. Hold on. And plus, let's get up to 1,000 people, man. Hopefully we can get 1,000 people. If not, it's all about the message anyway. But at least we want to get close to 1,000 people, man, to tap in. Hey, man, we in full effect. Some of the things that Angry Man said, and I don't think Angry Man was being disrespectful on this one. I think he just broke down a lot of the history of this space, and he spoke on things from his perspective. So I gotta respect it. How could I say? What word am I looking for? Angry Man is one of the founding members in this space, right? If you want to talk about Black Manosphere and things of that nature. Now, when it comes to that, most definitely never gave him credit for the things that he took. And we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about the history of the Black Manosphere. We're going to talk about foundational Black Americans. We're going to speak on current events. And most importantly, we're going to break down the history of this Black Manosphere and brothers in these red pill spaces. So yeah. Shout out to Jalen, the Go, Cat 6, everybody, man. John Jay, where you at, my brother? See, a lot of you guys remember when I did trying to get people to be proud of who we are and where we come from. That's the reason why I started doing FBA content, because I wanted us to take pride in who we are. None of us come from Africa ancestry, and some of us have indigenous blood. You know, you have indigenous Black Americans on this continent, right? First things first, the word Black is a name that the white man gave us, but that's not really who we are. So I met a lot of people in it. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people. You know, I've had conversations with people. Let me say that.
Thank you.
They
Stacey.
say that the word Black is controversial or problematic, and the reason that it was by the Caucasian, the European, the Caucasoid. That's not who we are. And
shout out to microphone.
When I really think about it,
how do you have a whole history of tweets over time? You know, he says, how do you have a whole history of tweets over a time period and then delete them when Ant does a live stream? How would a stranger know to do that? I mean, maybe they're gonna come up today and say that was a total fucking coincidence. Who knows? But shout out the microphone check with the $5 holla for you, boy, man. Appreciate that, man. You know, And y'all can follow Microphone Check's lead and hit that $ in the bottom right-hand corner. If you're at the home of the official YT Purge, you can cop a membership. You can also gift memberships too. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But thank you, Microphone Check. Appreciate that. We're going to get into that in a minute too. Yeah. And I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit through this, but I wanted y'all to hear his monologue.
I have to agree with that because that's not really who we are. That's the word. The word black is problematic just based on the fact that it was given to us by the white man. So I agree with that 100%. Shout out to Pretty Boy in the building, my dog. Pretty Boy been rocking with us from the beginning, so you know. Running 85 been rocking with us. So, hold on 1 second. Let me check on something. And we got to make some adjustments, man. We had to make some adjustments, man, on this channel because I had to.
Because the main reason why I'm breaking down this stream, or at least reacting to it, and anybody that wants to, feel free to come up. The link is pinned on both channels, and make sure you guys vote in the poll because I want to know what y'all think as far as that poll is concerned regarding KaiTheDoll and Sugar Bum. You know, they the same person, or it's just somebody that's a little on the schizo side, or if this is just the play motherfuckers is trying to run, or hey, we just got a case of mistaken identity, whatever the case may be. But I like this one because there was a lot of history that was broken down, you know? So I agree with what New said. Numbers really shouldn't matter. Not as much as people try to put into them, because that subscriber supremacy shit, which was a term that I heard, you know what I'm saying, a while ago, first person I heard say it was Sir Ism. I don't know who came up with it, but I heard Sir Ism say it. That subscriber supremacy shit. That was never a good thing at all. You know? It was never a good thing. But at the same time, I believe that history does matter, because in order to understand where you are and where the fuck you on your way to, you definitely, most definitely need to know where the fuck you been and where shit done came from. Okay, Zero said it first. All right, shout out to Zero. You know? But that was the first place I heard it. You know? And shout out to Microphone Check with the $2 ball. They say, Ant be on their ass. Man, I'm on throats. You know what I'm saying? I got boot to ass, belt to ass, boot to ass, foot on throat, knee on throat, all of that shit, man. We ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop. Death by 1,000 cuts.
I had to take a look at things and say, you know, and I said, okay, hold on, man. We gotta move in another direction. So I unblocked. Let me say this. I unblocked some of the people who got blocked. Everybody makes mistakes. I get that. So you guys can say, you know, if you want to express yourself, just limit the profanity. Limit the profanity. It is time to dive into the show.
Remember that I told you I loved you, that was really in the past.
If you remember, Angry Man was stuck at like
show and exploded off of him. You came to my channel to throw that in my face because you knew it would rub me the wrong way.
Well, you call yourself the Angry Man. And since you call yourself the Angry Man, people who don't like you wanted to antagonize you. And you're known for wearing your emotions on your sleeve. They understand it. So it's success to antagonize you, to get you in your feelings so that you can get out of character. You know, like you making those videos and of course, if Kevin Samuels, he's a chatty patty, he's running around in high heels and pink panties, nigga. Yeah, you're running around with Kevin Samuels, you know what, in your mouth, nigga. So they got you in your feelings. They knew they could press your buttons by saying those things because they knew that you were eager to be successful. Your main motivation was to be more successful.
What's up, Mahogany?
And once Kevin
So
Samuels'
Real TV,
channel blew
welcome.
up and yours was stagnated at the time, they used that to press your buttons. They used that to get you out of character. And that's exactly what happened. See, I understand the history, man, because I've been there.
Into my channel to try to rub Kevin's success in my face is because you know as well as I do that Kevin borrowed things from me and then took those things, added it to his show, changed up the format of his show, and exploded off of it. You came to my channel to throw that in my face because you knew it would rub me the wrong way.
Exactly.
You knew it would. In fact, the fact that you constantly try to rub it in my face is really an acknowledgement that you know what took place. See, if you were smart, you would just go on about your business and not even bring up the angry man's name in the same breath as Kevin Samuels. But you don't do that.
I'm gonna start reading off the cash apps at the hour mark of the show, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You already know.
But you don't do that. Okay?
Well, they just wanted to antagonize you, right? You said it before, right? Now, you said if they really wanted to hurt you, they should have just ignored you, right? They should have ignored your existence. But see, that wasn't good enough for them. They wanted to antagonize you. They wanted to remind you that Kevin Samuels was successful and you were still stagnated. So they used that to poke at you. They used that to get you out of character. And in reality, it actually worked because Angry Man did several videos yelling at the top of his lungs, talking about Kevin Samuels was gay. He's walking around in pink panties and some pom-poms. So if their main goal was to get you out of character, it actually worked. Let's continue.
Now, this is right around the time when I can remember I came into the space, and this is when there was another split, like niggas wearing suits, niggas, you know what I'm saying, niggas trying to switch up their shit and wear suits and shit because people was listening to that Kevin Samuels high value man shit, and you got to wear a suit, and them niggas was going to Men's Warehouse and getting they shit off the rack at Ross and shit. And then, you know what I'm saying, you had niggas was just wearing fucking t-shirts and hoodies and just doing content. So that was a real divide. Like, that was a real divide. Y'all can remember that was right around the time when you saw Jessica X, you know what I'm saying, blow up, you know, in the space.
Part of the reason that every time I go live, spray some cologne, is for two reasons. One, it is in remembrance of my friend Kevin Samuels when we were cool. But it's also,
make sure that you guys get the likes up, man. Regardless of what the algorithm do, root of the problem. You know, we understand that the numbers can be way bigger, but you will see that in due time. So we're gonna continue to grind. We're gonna keep working. But let's get back into the content, man.
So a reminder. Okay. Now, before you come in here and get in your feelings and get in your fifis, this isn't about jealousy as much as you want it to be. It's not about beef. It's simply about setting the record straight. I've kept this in for years. I've addressed little bits and pieces of it, but I've never really completely and fully addressed it.
Listen, one thing I do respect about Angry Man is his grind. He's a natural born hustler. See, I don't have to agree with him on everything to give him props for the things that he's good at. But I will correct him when he's wrong about some things at the same time. But I'm not here to spread hate about the Angry Man. I'm just speaking on things from my perspective. I think this was a great live stream, and we're talking about the history of this space, man. Let's get it.
I damn sure didn't get him. I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of the fact that y'all not.
Well, they were friends, man. This is what I'm gonna tell you. Like, before Kevin Samuels blew up, Angry Man counseled him. Angry Man gave him some pointers. Angry Man gave Kevin Samuels a lot of advice, and I'll co-sign that. Listen, I'll co-sign that. That is true. Regardless of how a lot of people feel about AM, it got bigger and more popular on this platform. That's the reality that a lot of people don't know. See, a lot of you guys know Kevin Samuels when he blew up.
What up, Emperor
Angry Man
Kojak?
knew Kevin
Salute,
Samuels
bro.
before he blew up and got popular. So Angry Man know that. KS did take some things. KS did take things from different people, and he never really gave props to those people. And Angry Man gave Kevin Samuels advice on a lot of things on how to operate in the space, because this is, listen, let me give you the truth. When KS pulled up to the space, he wasn't doing red pill content. Kevin Samuels was an image consultant. Kevin Samuels wasn't making red pill content when he first came to this space. So when Angry Man said that Kevin Samuels took some pointers from some people, when he took some pointers from some people and never gave them the props that they deserve, he's 100 about that. See, a lot of you guys love Kevin Samuels so much that you refuse to acknowledge some of his flaws, because Angry Man is correct. Angry Man did give Kevin Samuels some advice.
And that's real. Motherfuckers can't even argue that shit, man. That's real. And that's one of the reasons why there was a hell of a fucking divide. You know, one of the reasons I know that there was a hell of a divide, of course, it's likely a lot more shit that went down behind the scenes. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of folks that that Kevin had blown up, and he didn't give them their props. You know, one of which was ARC, Alan Roger Curry. Another was, of course, the Angry Man. You know, and that's, I mean, the list goes on and on. Another was even Tommy. You know, he took a lot of either talking points, just straight up, just face-to-face advice and shit like that, and pretty much just just ran with that shit and kind of just wanted to separate. But yet there were a lot of folks that were still kissing his ass. So there was a big divide as far as the space was concerned back then.
Angry Man did give Kevin Samuels some advice that was beneficial to Kevin Samuels moving forward in his career as a podcaster, his career as an influencer. And Angry Man felt disrespected because Kevin never really gave him his props. When Angry Man was rocking with Kevin Samuels, because this is the reality. I know I'm being long-winded, but I got to break this down. When Kevin Samuels was an image consultant, teaching men about fragrances and how to dress, a lot of cats in his space didn't even like Kevin Samuels. A lot of cats started rocking with Kevin Samuels once he started critiquing women, and his channel blew up. Prior to that, before Kevin Samuels started making red pill content, a lot of brothers in the space who rock with Kevin Samuels today, who praise Kevin Samuels today, didn't even like that nigga when he was making content about fragrances and him being an image consultant. A lot of cats didn't like him. A lot of you cats didn't like Kevin Samuels until he blew up with the red pill content. Let's continue.
Not let that man rest in peace. Every time I look up, somebody is either bringing up my name with his name or trying to throw his success in my face as if I don't have my own success. And the one thing that I'm not going to allow any of you to do, I don't care what your opinion is of me. I don't care what your opinion is of Kevin. It doesn't make me any difference. You are not going to besmirch my legacy in order to uphold his. I'm going to say that again. You're not going to besmirch my legacy in order to uphold his. In other words, you're not going to tear me down in order to continue to exalt him. For becoming famous off of borrowing points, strategy, style from numerous people in the Black manosphere. This is just the truth. And any of you individuals that don't like it, you know what you can do.
Let me give props to the people who blessed the cash out, man. We 30 minutes in. Shout out to Lions Dollars for blessing us with
And
the team. I
yes,
appreciate you, my brother.
You also
Shout out to
need to
Brennan
put your
85 for the
index
vibe. I appreciate you, bro.
your middle finger
But a shout out to Jay Wishbone for the 20.
up and around your bunghole
You know what I
a
mean?
little bit, nigga.
And make sure that you guys bless the like button, man. Hold on 1 second. Let me do this real quick. I'm a break down why dealing with single mothers didn't work out for me. And this has nothing to do with you. If you were a single mother and she loved,
Yeah, motherfuckers was not feeling that shit, man. When he came up in the space, he was talking that shit, man. You got a big dick, and all that other shit, man. That was some weird sus shit, man. You know. And then it was a divide, man.
but I'm going to give you guys I'm going to drop some game on y'all, and we're going to talk about dating and single mothers. This is why I said it is difficult dealing with a lot of these single mothers, and it has nothing to do with hatred. It has nothing to do with my feelings. This is my personal preference. Now, I've dealt with a single mother, right, that had some good qualities, but at the same time, there were a lot of cons that outweighed the pros in that situation, and I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to tell you what it is. See, when I dealt with this one single mother, she was a good woman. She would do certain things. You know, she was soft-spoken. She had a feminine voice. She would wash my clothes. She would prepare meals. She did a lot of things. But this is where the cons came into play. Now, if I wanted to go somewhere, she could never go anywhere by herself. She had a child with her that she always, you know, the child had to play tag along. And anytime I wanted to spend some one-on-one time with her outside of the house, it was impossible because she had this child with her, right? The child's father was not active in his life, so it's not like she can call the father up on a weekend and say, hey, man, I got this to do. Boom, boom, boom. Can you pick up your kid? She didn't have that. So when I wanted to take her to dinner, her child had to tag along with her. If I wanted to take her to a movie, her child had to tag along with her. If I wanted to go on a vacation, and it's like, what do I look like? I'm trying to get some one-on-one time with you. I don't want your child going with us everywhere we go. I got a son. You know, at the time, you know what I'm saying? I had a son, and it's like, you know, I spend time with my son, but when I do things, my son doesn't tag along with me everywhere that I go. She had a kid, and that kid had to tag along with her everywhere she goes. So it's like, I'm not looking for that. I need a woman who's spontaneous. I need a woman who can get on my program with no strings attached. So that's why I said dealing with a single mother can come with a lot of problems, especially if you're a man that likes to get up and go, and you can be spontaneous when you want to make travel plans, or if you just want to get up and do some things, right? I don't have to take a kid with me everywhere that I go, but she had to take a kid everywhere with her that she went. So that's why I say dealing with a lot of these single mothers is problematic, because then you must understand the child's father might call up. She's stressed out about the child's father because maybe he said something and he ain't doing this and he ain't doing that. So now that creates a problem in your household because you're dealing with a woman that has a child with another man. So those are the cons of dating single mothers. But anyway, I don't want to drown you guys out with that. I want to get back.
And look, I done heard that ever since I came into the space. That shit did not originate with Kevin Samuels. A lot of dudes been saying that. And I always said, look, man, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? Every dude should have his own standards as far as any woman he deal with, whether she got kids or not or whatever. But just keep in mind, the older you are and the older the people are that you're going to be fucking dealing with, people going to have baggage, man. So you got to have your own set of just requirements and standards or whatever. If you're going to deal with if you choose not to deal with single mothers or whatever, that's a preference of yours. I ain't going to argue with you. You know what I'm saying? If you are going to deal with them, hey, just understand that there's pros and cons to every fucking thing. You know, I never really liked the whole thing of just don't deal with single mothers at all. Like that's not the case with every single dude. You know, it's just not. Some dudes are built for it. They can do it. All single mothers aren't created equally. You know, so like it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? People are people. People are individuals. So what's good for the goose ain't gonna be good for the gander. I don't think it's a one size fits all thing.
Back into the content. So a lot of people they ain't ready for that. They ain't ready for those facts. So it's not that we hate single mothers. Like there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of problems that come with that. And I'll get back into that later, man. But shout out to the single mothers. I'm not saying that single mothers are bad people. What I'm saying is their situation is there's a conflict of interest when it comes to a man who could travel and move around freely, and then you got a woman who got to take a child everywhere she go. Who wants to take a woman on a vacation and she got to bring a child that ain't yours with you? You don't even want to take your children. You can leave your children at home with the mother, the grandmother, and you can go on vacation and deal with this woman that you're dating at that particular time. So if I'm not taking my kid everywhere we go, why would I want to deal with you if you have to take your kid with you everywhere that you go? That is a conflict of interest. But shout out to the single mothers. I'm not saying this to down you. I'm just saying a lot of men look at that situation as like, man, I don't want to feed your kid every time I go out. I need some one-on-one time with you. I don't even take my kid or kids with me everywhere that I go. So why would I want to spend money on you and your kids every time we go out to eat? Why would I want to buy another plane ticket for your kid if I want to go on a vacation when I can leave my kid at home with his mother or grandmother? And
I mean, I say it's like this, man. That's like saying you like a chick, but you don't like her big old ass. Her ass is just too big. Leave the ass at home. It's at some point you got to understand that, yeah, you might like a woman, but if you don't like her kids too, you really don't like that woman because her kids are part of her and shit like that. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta understand, like, if you really want to deal with somebody, you're gonna have to kind of deal with the good with the bad. That's a people thing. That's not a just single mothers. People gonna have pros, cons, and quirks and shit like that. You know, that's one of the issues that I've run into with dating. People be like, yo, hey, I like this, I like that about you. I like all of these other things. You know what I'm saying? You're handsome, you keep yourself up. You know, you're self-sufficient, you take care of yourself. But I don't really like your tone. Sometimes you get pissed off. Sometimes you get too caught up in work and shit like that. It's like, yo, that's it's all kind of part of me. It's the whole fucking package. So, you know, you got to kind of, you know, just accept that shit, man. You know, you're not dealing with blank canvases. You're dealing with people. You know, shout out to Tay Tay. Said what he's saying isn't wrong, but that's because women are the custodial parents. A lot of these men with kids come and go as they please because the kid is with the mother. You know, understandable. But that's why I say, you got to ask yourself, are you built for that shit? And are you built for that shit with this woman? Because just like I said, all single mothers ain't created equally. You know, some single mothers, she ain't got no goddamn respect, so her kids don't have no damn respect. You know, I mean, it just is what it is. So ask yourself that. You know, and if you one of them jealous, insecure motherfuckers, you're gonna have issues because some of these motherfuckers, they got issues because the father's not a deadbeat. He's actually a good dude that still takes care of his kids and all of that. And she actually still has some kind of respect for the dude, at least as the father of her child. So some of these dudes are so insecure that they can't deal with that shit. You know, they would prefer to have a traumatized woman and some traumatized kids that have a deadbeat, abusive fucking father just because he ain't around no more. I'm like, yo, you got to ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? Is that something you're willing to deal with? You know? But don't just get into it because you a zombie to just want some pussy. Just my take on it. You know, you got to understand the type of person you are and the type of person you dealing with and ask yourself, hey, are you compatible with this person? Because if you compatible with somebody, you willing to take the good with the bad. You're willing to deal with the pros and the cons because ain't nobody perfect. You're not dealing with blank canvases. You're dealing with people. You know, and the longer people live on this earth, the more baggage they're going to have. Physical, literal, figurative, and emotional baggage. People gonna have that shit.
I can go on a vacation. That doesn't mean that I'm a deadbeat father. That means that my life has structure. I can take a vacation and have some me time without taking my son everywhere with me that I go. But then I will make time to take him out and do things with him, to spend time with him as his father. Anyway, man, let's continue.
Yeah, to each his own.
Started on sort of like a business arrangement type thing. He was going to link me up with brand deals because at the time, like I said, his entire channel was about lifestyle, you know, style, fragrances, different things of that nature, right? Now, nothing ever came of the brand deals or anything like that, but it really didn't matter because me and him had begun to build a rapport with one another. In fact, we became so cool with each other that we literally would speak at least once every day, every single day. Now, what did we talk about? We talked about you know, what was going on in the YouTube streets. We talked about, you know, every.
Well, this is the thing. A lot of men with children don't have baby mama drama. Even if that woman doesn't have like issues like arguing with the child's father, you can't be spontaneous with a lot of these single mothers because they're stuck with the children 24/7. And you might have a lifestyle that you can roam freely. You spend time with your children, but you have time to do things for yourself. And if you're dealing with a woman who don't have that same freedom, it's going to hinder the relationship, right? At some point, you're going to want to deal with a woman who can go on vacation with you without scrambling for babysitters. So that's what I'm saying. So when we make content about single mothers and men starting their own families, it'd be beneficial for you to start a family from scratch, because when you take on a single mother, you got to deal with her misfortune and all of the cons outweighs the pros when it comes to dating the majority of single mothers. That may not be every single mother situation, because some of them do have babysitters, but at the same time, it's like they still got a baby daddy, they still got another man that they got to be in contact with, and a man who's successful that wants his own family, that's not gonna appeal to a man that's looking to start his own family. So it's not that we hate women that hate single mothers. You have to understand things from a man's perspective.
And this is the thing. What I always say, and this is my pushback with a lot of these fellas, that shit ain't just the man's perspective. Like you saw what Bridget just put in my chat. I'm actually gonna highlight that comment. There are a lot of women that feel the same way about men with their kids. They would prefer to start their own family too. They're not trying to step in no stepmommy role. Right, for real. I know that just as a single man trying to date as a single father. And I ain't talking about a part-time single father. I'm talking about like full custody, you know, of my son. And then every woman does not want to just step into that role, especially if she don't have any children. You know? I've spoke to women that have said straight up, look, I would prefer a man have 2 or 3 baby mamas and 4 kids and not live with any of them than for a single man to have 1 kid and that kid live with him full time. So again, I don't think this is a thing that's gender specific. Now, granted, just like Taylor said in the chat earlier, you know, more often than not, you know, the woman's gonna have the custodial rights, you know, and the custodial privileges. So it's more of a thing as far as dating single mothers than single fathers. Yeah, it's just a little more common and a little more prevalent, most definitely. But as far as the feelings and the perspective and shit like that, it's really not. You know what I'm saying? It's really not gender specific. Most people would prefer to be in a situation where they're starting their own family, you know, rather than joining one. And the fact of the matter is this, and a lot of people don't want to admit that because they understand this family was likely up and running before you got here, and it'll still run when your ass is gone. And that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. A lot of people, you know.
Day things, you know, he gave me some insight into his background. I gave him some insight into my background.
A lot of men, baby mama, see what you're doing is you're talking about getting your car keyed up, right? Like, my son's mother has never bothered any female that I've dealt with, right? I'm not with my son's mother today, but she's never harassed and bothered any female that I've been with. I pick them up, I spend time with them, I can do things with them, buy them some clothes, take them out and do whatever I want to do with them. That's no problem. But she's never came at any female that I've dealt with sideways. I can travel when I want, I can go here, I can go there, and there's no problem. So if I'm dealing with a woman who can't do the same, that's a conflict of interest, because if I'm not going to take your child with me every time we got to eat, you know, I'm not going to do that. Like if you a single mother and you don't have no babysitters and you ain't got nobody that can watch your child, that's a conflict of interest. I don't take my son with me everywhere that I go. But when it's time, when I make time for him and say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to take you in, I'm going to take you there. But a lot of these women don't have that. So everywhere they go, they got to take their child with them. And a man who's flexible, that's going to be a turn on to a man who's flexible. If I want to go on a vacation, I'm not taking you and your kid with me. You better drop that kid off with your mama. You better find a babysitter. If you can't spend one-on-one time with me, if I want to take you on vacation, you're going to end up in the side chick category. You're not going to be the main chick. You're going to be the side chick. I'll deal with you whenever it's convenient, because you're not fit for my lifestyle at that particular time. Now, if you want to play stepdad,
and trust me, Tay-Tay, you're going to have a serious argument with that shit. Because you got too many damn chicks. Yeah, they don't mind dropping their kid off, but they do have a serious problem booting up that fucking bread. They got a serious problem with that. And that's a fact. You know? That's a fact. They'll fight a motherfucker tooth and nail. You know? They'll fight a motherfucker tooth and nail as soon as they can't claim that kid on their taxes no more. You know? Real shit. That tax time, them chicks look forward to that shit. They ain't giving up them fucking kids just for that purpose right there. You know, the taxes, the EBT. The Medicaid. No. They'll be damned if they give that shit up. You know? Notice, I said a lot, not all. I said a lot. You know?
and take this woman and her kid out with you on a vacation, then go ahead and do that. That's your business. That's your prerogative, like Bobby Brown. Me, myself, I'm not going to take you and your kid with me if I want to go on a vacation. Now, that's just the thing. Every now and then, I might not mind your kid tagging along if I pick my son up and we can go somewhere together. But there's going to come a time to where I'm going to want some one-on-one time to where we can get out, vacation, and get a breath of fresh air. And if you don't have a babysitter to leave your kids with whoever, and I can roam freely and you can't, then you can't have that position as wifey. You can't have that position as my main woman because you ain't fit for my program at that point. That's all I was saying. Not to say that single mothers are bad people. Their situation ain't fit for a man who wants to roam and move freely. That's all I'm saying. Especially if they don't have babysitters and they can't just do things whenever they want to do it. I can move spontaneous, so I need a woman who can move like that as well.
We converse about YouTube strategy, all of those different things.
You never had a man around your son. Okay, cool. But a lot of these women do bring men around their children, right? That's the reality. So you speaking from your, the thing is this, man. Most men who are successful with options, they're not looking to wife up a single mother. I'm not saying that successful men never wife up single mothers, but what I'm saying is a man who has options that can roam freely, and they're not looking to wife up single mothers like that. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of issues. See, most of the time, the woman has custody of the child because a man has to fight to get custody of a child. A woman doesn't. If a woman don't have custody of her child, that means that she was unfit, and she was just unfit to be a parent. And they seen the father as they looked at the father like he would be a better parent. He's more suitable. He's more fit to raise that child. So anytime you deal with a woman who don't have custody of her kids, she had to be trifling for the court system to give those children to the father, because most of the time the court operates in a woman's favor. So if you're dealing with a single mother who don't have custody of her children, she was irresponsible and she wasn't fit to be a mother, because we all know how the courts side with women. Now, I know it's good for you because, oh, well, she ain't got her kids. We can travel and do this and she can do that. If a woman don't have custody of her kids, there's good reason for that. And you got to look at that as a red flag if you operating from common sense.
Whenever he was doing something.
And that's a shame that, and I'm going to fast forward through this a little bit because they're going to get into the history of the space. And I want to get into that. But right here, like why women are opting out of having kids, if that's why you would opt out to have kids, I believe your priorities are just totally fucked up. Just not even just as a parent, but as a human being, because that's people putting the wagon before the horse. You know, like I said, it's almost like saying, hey, I like you, I just don't like your skin complexion. Or I like you, but you're too damn tall or some shit like that. If you don't, or you're too short or whatever the fucking case may be. If you got a problem with something like that with somebody, then you got a problem with that person. Because somebody's kids are part of who the fuck they are. It just is what it is. So if the fact that, hey, you just don't want to take care of your kids, or you don't want to have to pay a dude, you know, if he's got the kids, or it's just tough to date because you're likely to end up a single mother and all of that other shit. I mean, the remedy would actually be to choose the right motherfucker to procreate with. That would be the remedy. Don't choose the wrong motherfucker and you don't have to deal with this shit. Or on top of that, not even just don't choose the wrong motherfucker. Don't be the wrong motherfucker your goddamn self. Because more often than not, water finds its own level. Man, that's just my opinion. Water finds its own level. A lot of the times, it ain't a lot of, let's keep it real. A lot of these chicks find ain't shit niggas because they're ain't shit chicks. You know? Or they might just be good people, but they're just horrible judges of character. So a lot of these problems really ain't problems. They're just symptoms of problems. No? Real. I believe that we was put on this earth, you know what I'm saying, to be fruitful and multiply. In some case, or procreate, whatever. There should be something left on earth when you ain't here. Like, that's what the fuck we were put here for, you know? That's why the world's population just keeps on growing. You know? But if everybody's looking at that shit from a selfish perspective, chances are you ain't ready for kids. You can blame the other person and the other people and everybody else's mentality, but a lot of the times it's your mentality, and that's why you end up attracting the people that you do. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but a lot of people put the wagon before the horse. So, you know, if you don't procreate with shitty ass dudes, you probably won't have a shitty ass baby daddy.
That I felt wasn't working, I would tell him, I think you should change.
Now you want to talk about the outliers. Didn't Wooty Woo marry a single mother? The majority of men who are successful are not looking to wipe up single mothers. See, you women always speak for the exception, but we're talking about the rule, not the exception. So if you want to be a single mother, by all means, go out there and be a single mother. But the majority of single mothers are not getting wiped up. Some single mothers wipe up and find a simp who are willing to take them on and all their problems. So if you can find a man that's willing to accept, if you can find a man that's willing to accept the fact that you have a baby daddy or baby daddies and he still wants to wipe you, you just lucked up. You're the exception and you're not the rule. Because the overwhelming majority of single mothers will not get wiped up. A lot of men will date them. A lot of men will have sex with them, but they are not looking to marry them. That's the unfortunate reality. Don't shoot the messenger, baby.
I think you should do this. I think you should do that, right?
What up, Conscious?
Whenever he saw something that I was doing that wasn't working, he would tell me, you need to do this, you need to do that. You should do this, you should do that. Specific examples are, he suggested that I use a DSLR camera. I suggested that instead of standing in front of a plain white background the way he used to, I said, you're the style guy. You should have like a really nice background, something really elegant, you know, things of that nature, something that looks real gentlemanly.
Angry man was with his woman before he became successful. So if he wiped up a single mother, then that's his choice. I'm not knocking him for that. You know, if the woman was down with him and she brought value to his life, then it is what it is. I'm not here to knock him from that. But angry man woman was down with him before he became successful. See, a lot of you women who are single mothers, you think you can get with a man that's already successful, and you wasn't there with that man when he was building. You wasn't there with that man when he was grinding. You just want to reap the benefits of that man's success. And a lot of men with common sense, they not going for that. Why would I need to wipe up a single mother and she wasn't there with me when I was building? She wasn't with me when I was broke. Why would I let this woman be the beneficiary of my success and she wasn't with me when I was out there grinding? She wasn't with me when I was out there putting in that full-time work. But she wants to be the beneficiary of my success, and she's coming to the table with children that she didn't already have with another man. I think's not. Boom. Angry man's wife was with him when he was broke. That's the difference.
You feel me? He suggested that on my call-in shows, because he didn't do call-in shows. I did call-in shows. He suggested on my call-in shows that some of the guys that call in, it doesn't work for the numbers because they talk too long. So, word? Okay. He also said that I shouldn't beef with anybody, which is advice I really didn't take at first, right? I told him that even though he's doing style and cologne and stuff, I told him that these ignorant Negroes were never gonna like that. You might want to try a different type of content. Literally. Because these ignorant savages do not appreciate being refined. They do not appreciate style. They do not appreciate cologne. They don't appreciate that. Look, most of these.
Shout out to the one and only Brownie Ellie. You know, so let me pivot a little bit before we get into this, right? You let us know when you popping off. I don't know if you're gonna pop off at the scheduled time, but we will go right over there and we will finish this one later if we have to, right? But yeah, so Brownie Ellie has a one-on-one set with the one and only KaiTheDoll. Yes, KaiTheDoll. And the main question that we have, well, I know that I have, is how come there was a public account and then it wasn't? I guess ironic. It's just extremely ironic, like it wasn't an hour into the stream, not even. So we want to know, inquiring minds want to know, because we know that this is KaiTheDoll. And this is the avatar that Sugar Bum, aka Shiesty Bum, is using. And we'd also like to know if KaiTheDoll is not Sugar Bum, aka Shiesty Bum. How does KaiTheDoll feel about somebody wearing her face and talking cash shit on the internet in this space? Because it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good at all. But let's get back into this.
These Negroes don't even wash their ass. Right? He said he would take it into consideration. There were numerous things we talked about. He talked about how he didn't like how broke Negroes were in these spaces, how they refused to support the channel, which I definitely agree with and agreed with at the time. I told him that if he wants to get more people to contribute, he needs to add certain things to his live stream that encourages people to actually contribute. In other words, we both did everything in our power to sort of hone each other's skills. At some point, and I don't know when this point happened. I really don't. I think it was somewhere around 2019 when he got tired of the Black manosphere. Me and him kind of grew apart. Now, I don't know if it was because I was focused on my channel and he was focused on his channel, or I don't know what it was. It wasn't a falling out. We didn't have a falling out or anything of that nature, right? We just started going our separate ways. Around that time, many of the men in the Black manosphere started accusing him of being homosexual, which I thought was egregious and really unfair because he had never said that that's what it was with him. I never heard him say anything like that. There was only a handful of people.
Yeah, and I hadn't heard him say anything like that until I heard him say something like that. And if anybody's got that clip feel free to send it to me by IG or even by email of him saying that the only thing that we need women for is sex. And then he said we could use little boys for that, end quote. Like Kevin Samuels said that shit. Okay? Which is, niggas can't get down with that type of shit. Under no circumstance. Can't get down with that type of shit. Okay? No? And then, I mean, yeah, he did. Y'all had to bring that shit to my attention because I was like, the fuck? Yeah, I can't co-sign that. And there's still niggas up there trying to defend that shit. I'm like, bro, there's some shit. Yo, I cannot defend that under any circumstances. Yeah, you talking about male on male and then brought up little boys. I can remember that clip. I do not have that clip, but yes, Kevin Samuels did say that shit. You know, and the internet never forgets. So I know that somebody has it. Feel free to send it to me and I will bring it up on the Sunday show tomorrow. You know, and I guarantee you, it'll be somebody that wants to come in here and defend that weirdo shit. Can't defend that. Yeah, they tried to defend that too.
That chose to defend him, which was me and the individuals of the Black Order at the time, one of which was Crimson Cure, one of which was Grinch, and BGS Ibn. Most people, they had the same consensus, right? Regardless, at some point, and I don't know when, Kevin changed his entire content format. He started doing content that was, I'll put it to you like this. If what I do and what guys like me do, I would consider it the light side of the force. What Kevin started doing, I would consider the dark side of the force. Effective, but a little colder. He started to do content about women, which was not his tip. No, matter of fact, he first started doing content about men. He tried to do content encouraging men to be better, encouraging men to improve, encouraging men to step their game up. Only problem was that content wasn't working. That content was not gaining traction, right? Wasn't gaining traction. So he switched. He went from doing content about the men needing to improve, doing content about women needing to improve.
He did. He went from doing content from saying that men needed to improve to women needed to improve. And that's what worked for him. He found his lane. You know? The like button.
And he started doing call-in shows where the women would call in and he would basically converse with them.
He did. He started to converse with them, and that's what worked for Kevin Samuels, you know, speaking to the women. You know, speaking to the men really didn't take him nowhere. You know, once he started speaking to the women, his platform blew up. Now, Angry Man said when Kevin Samuels said that women, you will die alone, he felt like that was harsh. I don't think it was harsh. What Kevin was saying is you women have unrealistic expectations, which is why you're going to be lonely and single and you're going to die alone. I don't think that Kevin Samuels was trying to be harsh. That was a reality check for women with unrealistic expectations. So I don't agree. I don't think that Kevin Samuels was tearing women down with his content. He was being brutally honest with them. I don't think he said the things that he said because he wanted to tear them down because he hated women. No, he was giving women a reality check that was needed. And that's exactly how I see it. But let's move on with the content. Bless that like button. It ain't nothing.
Verse with them about what they need to do, what they should do, blah, 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 right? This started gaining traction.
Let me tell you something. Monique Robinson and do you ladies want to come up? Because I would love for you ladies. Kaya. Shout out to Kaya and Monique Robinson. If I drop the link.
Helping women. And the consensus in the manosphere was that the women couldn't be helped. That was a waste of time. Right? That was a waste of time. That's how they felt about it.
And I would agree with that to an extent, to a certain degree. it's not that the women can't be helped, because in a lot of cases they can't be helped, but they can't be helped by y'all niggas. They can't. They can't be helped with niggas in the manosphere, because a lot of the niggas in the manosphere need to be helping themselves and helping each other before they even try to help a woman or an entire group of women. Niggas have their own issues. Niggas have their own mommy issues. Niggas have their own childhood trauma. Niggas have their own fucking daddy issues. Niggas have their own personal insecurities that they need to work on before they try to outline and play psychologist or therapist or dating coach to women. That's my thoughts on it. I agree with New 100%. Let the chicks talk to chicks. You know? So when dudes decided to do that shit and create a space for that, what you ended up doing, you really just created a space full of fucking marks. That's what it is. That's why you have multiple female content creators and shit that can just come in here, show their cleavage, you know, show their cleavage and their curvature and shit, and tell these niggas that it's not their fault, it's the fault of the women, and you know, I'm not like those other women, and these niggas will pay them and everything else, and those are the same dudes, or those are the dudes that the same women that they worship and spend their money on them. Them chicks would never even fucking date you, man. Like real shit. They wouldn't. You know, that defeats the entire purpose. You can't call yourself a damn leader as a man, or as a group of men. You can't call yourself leaders. But yet, everything that you do revolves around what women say, what they think, and how they feel. What the fuck kind of leader are you? You know? And shout out to Rogue C. I saw her on Dee Dee's panel yesterday, along with some other dudes. And that's all that shit is a damn, like a shrine of worship to a chick. No? So you got a bunch of dudes just looking to be mommy. You know? Because they had a fucked up relationship with their own mother, or an unhealthy relationship. Not cool. You know? So I personally believe that the message got fucked up and tainted as soon as dudes made that shit all about women.
Makes my platform so much better. Forget the subscribers, forget the numbers that we get. Look for authenticity. And that's what I give you over here, straight reality. So I give people a chance to pull up and speak on the things that they disagree with.
Yeah.
I've allowed Latinos, white folks, and women who are feminists, women who are rainbow community members. I've allowed people from all different walks of lifestyle to pull up to speak on things from their perspective. That is what makes my channel a lot realer than a lot of these other people, right? I'm not pandering to FBA people. I'm not pandering to the red community. I'm just being red supreme.
Done before. I didn't really know anything about it because I was too busy doing my own content. I was too busy focused on what I needed to do, right?
And that's more medicine that was in the food, but dudes didn't pay attention. They paid more attention to what Angry Man was saying instead of just paying attention to what the fuck he was doing. He pretty much just hit the nail right on the head, and he showed you what the formula was to leveling up. Getting out of your car, you know what I'm saying, and not having to do content from inside of your car and having a nice fucking studio to do it in. Not being a lonely motherfucker that's red pill raging and shit all of the time, and having a woman that's on your damn program and everything else. Stop focusing on what other motherfuckers is doing and what motherfuckers is thinking, and handle your own shit. Just what AM just said. He said, I didn't even notice that shit. I was too busy doing my own shit. Boom. That's the formula. Right there. Right there. Like, you don't even need to consume thousands of hours of content to realize that. Just pay attention. This motherfucker working on his shit. No. But even to go to what Rogue C was saying, earlier in the chat, dudes are not simps for dealing with single mothers. You know what, dudes? I'll agree with that. Dudes are not simps for dealing with single mothers. Dudes are simps for giving a fuck about being called simps because of dealing with the women that they want to deal with. Like, why would you give a shit what people think or say about you? You got to wake up in your own skin every single day. So you do what's good for you. Don't worry about what a bunch of strangers on the internet have to say. What they eat doesn't make you shit. But unfortunately, for a lot of these folks, it does. Which is why they keep coming back to the internet for answers.
So,
shout out to N Mills, man. And Kevin Samuels was just giving women a reality check. He didn't hate women. What he was saying is, well, you're average at best. And he wasn't saying that to put the woman down. What he was telling her is, you're an average woman who think you deserve a man who's above average. And you're a single mother, you're coming to the table with another man's child, but you think you're gonna get this man who's successful that makes all his money. And if he was being picky, he can get a woman with no children to be the beneficiary of his success. Why would he pick you and you coming to the table with a child from another man?
I wouldn't even go that far. Shout out to Red Supreme, but at the same time, I wouldn't even go that far. He called her average at best because she rated herself average. As far as her looks and shit like that. She rated herself average. On a scale of 1 to 10, she couldn't use 7. She said she's a 5. And then if she dolls up, she's a 6. What the fuck? On a scale of 1 to 10, if you're a 5/6 and you're rating yourself, that's the average number. That's math. That's simple fucking math.
Just the reality check. That doesn't mean that you hate women. You're just telling them the truth. Let's take a man who's successful, who have his pick of the litter. He can date whatever type of woman he wants. He can get a woman with no children that can get on this program, or he can date this single mother who has a child by another man, and she can't be spontaneous with you because she got a child by another man. Who do you think that successful man is going to pick? He's going to deal with the woman with no children and start his family from scratch. He doesn't have to wife up a single mother. Now, if you luck up and get a man to wife you up as a single mom, good for you. I'm not putting single mothers down. I'm just giving them the reality of the situation. This is the real world that we are living in.
People kept coming and telling me, yo, Kevin's doing this, Kevin's doing that, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, word. And at first, I'm just like, well, Kevin doing his thing, let him do his thing or whatever, right? Now, I'm not tripping about the fact that he decided to do a call-in show. I'm not tripping about the fact that he decided to talk to women. It is what it is, right? If you got a YouTube channel and you decide to do that, cool. It is what it is, right?
What's up, LA Project?
I did say to myself, he never did call-in shows before. Now on my call-in shows, I would talk to men or women. It really didn't make me no difference, right? Now on those shows, I would talk to the men about the stuff that women do, and I would talk to the women about the stuff that women do, and I would be like, yo, y'all need to chill out on this, and why y'all doing this, blah, blah, blah. I used to do all of that shit, right? Before I got tired of doing call-in shows. So I wasn't thinking nothing of it. It's just another YouTuber doing what YouTubers do. I didn't think anything of it, right?
We need 5 more people to support this show, and I will drop the link to get you guys' opinion on everything that's going on in the Black community when it comes to dating, politics, and there's the whole history of this space. Let's continue.
So I'm doing my thing. Niggas keep coming and telling me. And I'm not gonna say who, but people would hit me up behind the scenes and be like, yo, Angry Man, Kevin is over there Kevin is over there biting your content, bro. And I'm like, because
I don't think Kevin was biting Angry Man's content.
Believe it or not, all of these platforms, even StreamYard has a call-in link where people can dial and come up. Zoom has it. Restream has it. You can click a link or you can actually call and use your phone and call. It's a way to set that up. It's not tough.
Because Kevin Samuels' approach was completely different from Angry Man's approach. That's not saying that Kevin Samuels didn't take a few things that Angry Man said and repeat it on his show. But Kevin Samuels is mild. It's rare that he cursed. He wore suits. His image was completely different from Angry Man. Right? Now, if Angry Man want to say that Kevin Samuels took some of the things I said and never gave me props for it, then yes, that may be true. But Kevin Samuels' image and the way that he went about things was completely different from the way that Angry Man does things.
We never had no falling out. We was cool. So I'm thinking somebody just trying to stir some shit up. You know, because people do that here on YouTube. They'll try to pit you against somebody else. If they see anybody that's shining, they'll try to pit you against somebody else that's shining. Or, you know, they'll do all of that shit. So I didn't pay it no mind until one day I decided to go over and watch his show just to show him some love, just to show some support or whatever, right? Maybe super chat something. Maybe call in. You feel what I'm saying? If he's taking call in from dudes or whatever, right? So I just
what up, Mr. Green? Salute, bro.
I go over to his show, and he's literally doing a show that is eerily similar to a show that I did. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, come on, I know he's not doing what I think he's doing. It can't be, right? And I'm just sitting there watching it, and I hear one talking point. I hear another talking point, and then another one. And I'm like, and I'm waiting to see if he's gonna shout me out. I'm waiting to see if he's gonna give me credit. I'm waiting to see if he's gonna say, you know, because Angry Man always says this, or Angry Man said that. It never happened. It never happened. And I'm like,
so Angry Man, and from Angry Man's perspective, right? If this is your intellectual property and people are using it as a talk component on a platform and they never give you props, you do have the right to call them out eventually. Now, if they do it one time, maybe.
Look, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. First motherfucker I saw to do a call-in show on here regarding these topics and shit was Tommy. So even the call-in show format in particular, I saw Tommy do that shit. So from what I noticed, that's what pissed a lot of motherfuckers off. You know, is that he just did shit and pretended as if he invented it, or you know, he would take the talking points and the statistics and the empirical data and shit like that and just spit it out and really not give credit, you know, where it was due. And the more things change, the more things stay the same. Now, I get it. There's a lot of folks that have been able to, you know, find their way, you know, into this space, you know, because of the, you know, the global pandemic and a lot of other shit. But, you know, at the end of there you go. There you go. That's what I remember. That was the first one I said. I did it. Yeah, bro. Yo, you won't come in here with disrespecting my shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? You will not, under any circumstances, motherfucker. But you're more than welcome to bring your fucking ass up here, bro, and pop shit directly to me. You know? Real shit. That's how we gonna fucking do things here. You know? Real shit. You ain't gonna pop shit in my chat, nigga. You know? So you can bring your ass right the fuck up here, click this fucking link, and we can change the entire direction of this motherfucking show right now. Or you can get the fuck out. Bitch. That's how we handle you motherfuckers. They're like taking purchased apparatuses up the ass from your fucking women. Pussy.
You can look past it. But if they continue to do it without citing their source or where they got it from, I can understand why you would get upset about that as a content creator. Why? Because that's your intellectual property. That's how we make money, from our intellectual property. So when you got somebody that's using your intellectual property, but they never give you props, and they do live streams, and they might be an influencer or a podcaster or a content creator themselves, that could be frustrating. So I do understand where Angry Man is coming when it comes to that. I understand where he's coming from when it comes to that.
Yo, what up?
So I'm really starting to trip.
What's good,
you know,
bro?
because I'm getting mad. I'm getting angry, right?
Just I kind of see what's going on now.
What's up?
I got a quick point to throw in there. So okay, is Angry Man saying that he heard Kevin Samuels copying his talking points, kind of?
Yeah.
All right. If that's the case, I'm gonna say this from an artist perspective, and some rappers may agree. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to creating your content, sometimes you be like, it's like a wavelength. You know what I mean? Like shit be like parallel universe type shit, to where you could be doing something, and somebody else is over across the way somewhere else doing the same shit, saying the same thing. Because if y'all both thorough, y'all doing y'all craft, then it's like you're both practicing. It's like it's no different from like a dude saying, "Hey man, I go in the gym, I shoot 30 jumpers, I shoot 30 free throws," and then somebody else saying, "Hey man, I do the same thing. I go in the gym, I shoot 30 jumpers." But it's like nobody's copying anybody. It just happens to be like a similar thing. So, like I said, as an artist, a lot of rappers heard other rappers spit them same bars before, but that don't mean they heard them say them. Oh no, he bit my rhymes. It's like, nah, y'all was just on the same type of wavelength. Both of y'all do the same thing. So if both of y'all might just end up saying the same shit, point blank period, and it could be around the same time.
So this is where Red Supreme is kind of breaking it down. Now, Angry Man did a stream a while ago where he actually pulled up the footage. They used to chop it up, bounce shit off of each other, give each other advice and shit like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Angry Man was definitely bigger than Kevin Samuels in the space, you know what I'm saying, at first. Until Kevin Samuels switched up his content and, you know what I'm saying, his flow, and did the thing on World Star. He went from giving the advice to dudes to giving the advice to women, and that's when he took off into the stratosphere. So Angry Man's not the only one that said that. Like I said, Tommy Sotomayor, ARC, and a bunch of other folks in the space was like, yo, he did kind of bite a lot of those talking points, which, I mean, it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like this entire space is created based on, talking points and shit like that. It's nothing new under the sun. And then, the original manosphere can say the same thing about the black manosphere. Like the black manosphere is a spinoff of the manosphere. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but there is some validity to what he said with this.
I didn't even know how to process it at the time. Now, at first, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go live and just flame the shit out of his ass. I wanted to go live and just go all the way in. But then I'm like, he's starting to grow, he's starting to come up, and he came after me. He didn't come before me. He came after me. And we was mad cool with each other, and we done gave each other advice and shit like that. And everybody know that we cool with each other. And then all of a sudden, we just stopped really kicking with each other. And now I'm gonna flame him up about some shit. Everybody gonna say I'm a hater. Everybody gonna say that I'm just jealous, right?
But that's what people are going to say. Anytime you critique somebody that everybody loves, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, you a hater. Oh, man, you just hating. Oh, that's the only reason why you saying something. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. Anytime you criticize an individual that people worship, then they're going to say that you're a hater because they don't want you criticizing someone who they idolize. That's the reality. Now, I never thought that Angry Man was, I get why I understand why people felt that Angry Man was hating, because the way he went about things when he did those rants and videos going off, and when Kevin Samuels never gave him props, and a lot of the fans used Kevin Samuels' success to antagonize Angry Man because they would say, Kevin Samuels got 1 million subscribers, Angry Man only has 25,000. And at that time, that was true. And Angry Man was frustrated with himself because he couldn't understand why his channel only had 25,000 subscribers and Kevin Samuels shot up to 1 million. Then you had people who came to his platform to antagonize him about that shit every day. So there's videos on YouTube you can look at them, you can see him. Angry Man got way out of character. He allowed the trolls and subscribers to poke fun of him, and they used Kevin Samuels' success to antagonize him. And he fell
up, Miss K?
He got frustrated because he couldn't understand why his channel wasn't growing and Kevin Samuels' channel was blowing up. But at the same time, Kevin Samuels took talking points from Angry Man and used that on his channel. So it was frustrating to Angry Man to see a nigga using some of his talking points. His channel was blowing up and Angry Man's channel was stagnated. And the fans used that to antagonize Angry Man. They poked at him. They made fun of him. And Angry Man got out of character as a result of these trolls making fun of him.
I don't know if he got out of character because the character is the Angry Man. Like that is his character. Yeah. So he's allowed to kind of fire the fuck off. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's the brand, you know. So I don't.
Man,
like he's allowed to go
the
to fuck
thief
off.
Of all
You know?
joy.
Say what?
Comparison is the thief of all joy.
I like that one.
Like,
I think I'm about to steal that one.
I mean, it's true because if you're doing something and somebody asks you about somebody else who's doing the same thing, my answer would always be, look, if I saw the content, I could say, hey man, you know, I've seen the content. Yeah, we have similar things going on. I like the way they do what they do, and much credibility to them and much success on their future. I'm not gonna say what it is or what it isn't. I'm not giving a formulative opinion on it because that's when I can just put myself in some shit that I don't need to be in, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes as a professional, you just gotta know how to stay out of shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have your media training. So this is where I'm looking at Angry Man like, bro, where's your media tactics? Like, so what people are saying shit about somebody ripping off your content and they came up and they made more money than you, got more followers than you. It's like, you're supposed to just be like, hey man.
What's up, Glow? Go ahead.
Some people prefer McDonald's fries and Burger King burgers. You know what I'm saying? But they both sell burgers and fries. So it is what the fuck it is.
I like that, bro. That's cool avatar you got there.
Yeah, I mean, we both doing things, you know what I'm saying? And I got my brand, you got your brand, but we selling the same thing. But some people might like the way you got the sesame seed bun and I don't. Or somebody might like the brand of sesame seed buns that I use over the brand of sesame seed buns that you use. But either way, we both got sesame seed buns. You know
well, I mean, that's that McDonald's versus McDowell's shit. So yeah, right. Your buns may have no seeds, but let's keep it real. You're still in the back room ripping off McDonald's shit.
I mean, when we're talking about brand, the way the brand looks and all shit like that, but we talking about, but Burger King don't look like McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Like just like what I think it was Smitty that just said in the chat. Like, there's really nothing new under the sun. You know, it's nothing new under the sun. So I understand that. But this is not a new conversation. Like, even when Kevin was alive, you know, he did call out Kevin on this shit. It was a big divide in this space, you know, because of that. Like, for real, it was the dudes wearing suits versus the street dudes. You know what I'm saying? The hustlers. That's what it was. And I don't know a lot of folks that are newer around here, even myself included, even, you know what I'm saying, being almost 5 years deep and shit. You know, I'm a little newer. What up, American Negro, aka American Tradesman? He knows what's up. You know, it was a big divide in that shit. So originally, folks was on the same page as far as, you know, their critique of women and all of this other shit. But then, you know what I'm saying, when Kevin blew up, you know what I'm saying, with the World Star and the shit getting shared on Facebook and all of that other shit, it was like there was a lot of motherfuckers that kind of piggybacked off that shit. Like, even Obsidian was calling him Saint Kevin and all of this other shit. And then There was another half that was like, fuck that high value man shit. Like, where's your mouthpiece at? You know, you ain't gotta make all of this money and lead with your money and all of that shit, man. You know, you can have game. I called it, you know what I'm saying, that shit split from, you know, just a man thing to game versus lames, you know, pretty much.
Yeah, it took a lot of different avenues and exposed a lot of different sectors of men who would call themselves guys or men or high value or average Joes or Pookies and Ray Rays, you know, all this different diversity of what men are seeing themselves as versus other men. Like why am I not thriving as a so-called high value man? Or,
here's what we're gonna do. Believe it or not, we are going to have to stop this stream right here. We are all going to go right the fuck over to Brownie Ellie's right now, because Brownie Ellie has her one-on-one with KaiTheDoll right now. Now, we don't know if KaiTheDoll is actually going to come on camera, but apparently she is fixing this sugar bum debacle. Whatever. Now, I appreciate y'all voting in the poll and all of that other stuff. Remember, what my question is before we go, is what's up with this shit right here? What's up with this shit right here? Because it wasn't suspended until I decided to do a stream on it. So we're going to end this. We'll be back later afterwards, and we're going to talk about it. Salute, y'all.